He knows that I know that he went to Israel. He's told me a couple of times that was the most impactful week of his entire life. And what I found out is that he's not that interested, in church. And my intention was to dig into what does he really believe? What are some of his barriers?
That's such a great thing for everybody, because just how intentional you are. They're going, hey, I'm going to try to figure out who's not a Christian here and go there instead of hanging maybe with my buddies or where it's safe or easy. This week on the Reach Podcast. All right. Hey, welcome back to the Reach Podcast. I am joined once again by Nate Eckelberger. Nate is on Search's staff. He's our area director in Austin, Texas. Super cool place to do what we get to do, I think. And Nate, thanks for being back on the podcast.
Yep, love it.
Okay, we're talking about another conversation, series of conversations, really trying to learn some principles of how to share our faith, right? How do we share Jesus with our friends? That's what this podcast is about. So what are we talking about today?
Yeah, today I want to tell you about a friend of mine, Lamar.
Okay.
I started attending a boot camp style outdoor workout at a person's home that previously did a lot of CrossFit. So during the pandemic and some of these CrossFit gyms started closing, he started gathering up equipment. And he has a pretty solid gym at his home. And so he's in my neighborhood, and he decided that he was going to offer free workouts to people in the neighborhood Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so I would say most sessions are 8 to 12 guys, so it's a good time. It's a fun time. And I try not to ever assume, even though I know my friend Brandon is a strong believer, and many of the people he runs around with are. I just show up to these things not assuming that everyone, is going to be a believer. And so I'm on the lookout for that. And I noticed right away that, I was the new guy, and these guys really had some camaraderie. And many of them know each other a long time. They work out a long time together. Some of them are from the old CrossFit box that Brandon came from. And so I was trying to, understand just the friendship dynamics, and I was coming in, and so I was getting to know these guys. And so one time after the workout, everybody left, I just say, hey, Brandon, tell me a little bit about these guys. Which ones, are believers, non-believers? Just give me some backstory just so I know. And he let me know that one of the guys who I really had a liking to, Lamar, was not. And he was a very unique, interesting guy with an interesting story. And so I just got intentional about, when I show up and there's 8, 9, 10 of us, sometimes we do partner stuff, and sometimes, it's individual, that I'm going to just lean into this relationship. And
can I throw some in there just real quick? But that's such a great thing for everybody, because if you're working out, just how intentional you are, they're going, hey, I'm going to try to figure out maybe who's not a Christian here and go there instead of hanging maybe with my buddies or where it's safe or easy, right? I just think it's great. Anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And what that makes me think of is a tiny little offshoot. I've got a buddy who works at a Gold's Gym, and he wears a shirt that says, Jesus is my strength coach. And he just wears a shirt and works out. And he says he rarely goes to the gym and not have somebody give him some knuckles, just say, hey, what's up? Or just a nod. And, I don't know. It's just interesting, just being intentional where we are. So I'm trying to be intentional when I show up to these places. And I like Lamar. Again, I'm drawn to him. He's very, very frugal. I could say some crazy stories about his frugality, but man, do I click with frugal folks, and so he works out in old Goodwill button-down shirts because they're durable, and he sees them as free, and they last forever, and so it's just funny. So what I come to know about Lamar is he's a trickster, he's funny, he's a grunter, and he just a good time. What I learn while we're working out and talking is that this group of folks a few years ago decided that they're going to go to Israel with couples.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so some of them go to church together. Some of them just know each other. It's a mixed group.
Like a tour group.
One of these tour
Yeah.
groups, where you go with a guide and you do, one of these extended Israel trips and see all the sites. And I was very surprised to know that Lamar and his wife had said yes to that trip. And not only said yes, they had sold a rental home to afford it, which was, knowing Lamar and his lifestyle and how he does things. I get into some crazy stories about his frugality. That was like, that's interesting. That really piqued my interest. Like, that I want to know about that.
Yeah.
So, we have a group chat, how this exercise group works. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically before each session, you kind of know who's going to show up. Brandon will say, hey, my house again, blah, blah. And if, the guys will chime in. I'll be there. I'll be out there. And so you'll get, there's about 22 people on this group chat. And so because, 8, 9, 10 show up, a lot don't show up. It's mixed. Every so often, only Lamar and I would show up. It'd be really rare, but we'd get to work out just the two of us. And what I noticed each time is he was happy. He would thank me that I showed up to work out, so he didn't have to work out by himself.
Yeah.
And that he seemed genuinely excited for, that it was me and not just a person. And then while we'd work out, 3 separate times, he confided in me something that I knew he wasn't sharing with the rest of the guys. And I just took that as, I'm starting to earn trust with this guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I try to let people know who don't often have these spiritual conversations. We're trying to teach them, how to do it. Be on the lookout for, am I building trust? What's it look like if they trust me? And these are the types of things you're looking out for. Are they starting to tell me things they might not just tell everybody? Is there starting to be a sense where they're going deeper as you are going deeper? And some of that is I'm intentionally very open. I share. I've changed my diet. I've changed kind of the way I'm doing things. I'm looking at ways to improve my relationships, and I'm open about that. And as a way to say, hey, I'm willing, are you? And so he reciprocated a couple of times. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, he knows that I know that he went to Israel, and he's told me a couple of times that was the most impactful week of his entire life. And this group of guys who works out all go to church together. Not all, most go to church together. And I know that he doesn't. He doesn't attend that church, and I know that he doesn't. He's not that interested, in church. And then what I found out is that he went to Christian school, a very specific one, and really walked away at 8th grade, and he's never been back. And yet his best friend, most of his best friends are strong believers, and he's been to Israel and sold a rental home to go. And so all that equation with him confiding in me made me feel like I had started to earn that spot to say, let's you and I get a lunch one-on-one. And my intention was to dig into, what does he really believe? How does he see this all work? What are some of his barriers? What keeps him away, even though his good friends are very involved? And so whenever... I'm a busy guy. I have a lot of groups. I have groups almost every day. Some days, multiple groups. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I get these heavy workouts outside of that. And so I attend often these workouts for the fact to seeing Lamar and guys like Lamar. And there could be a day where I've already worked out. There could be a day where I've already had a couple of groups, and yet when the group text starts popping off and Lamar says he's in, I'm in.
Yeah.
And we did have that conversation. We had a great lunch, hour and a half of him unpacking how he sees things, where he is. I was just very curious and really allowed him to be where he is and listen to him, knowing that this conversation, is going to continue.
Yeah. So when you guys get together post Israel and you're debriefing, like, what do you learn? Why was it impactful? But did it change what he believed or have any effect on his faith journey?
Right now, if it has, he's not verbalizing it. That he was He made a great connection to the reality of the history of these religious events. You know, when you go and touch them and feel them and see them and hear stories of what happened, you've been. There's no way not to be changed by that. I don't think it doesn't live in the land of fairy tale anymore. I think he is still unpacking that. I think there's some hurts and some wounds and some emotional barriers that I'm going to have to take some time to unpack that I don't quite know yet. He's a thinker. He's a very, very smart guy. I just got to meet his brother that talks like him, looks like him. So Lamar had a 50th birthday party just a few weeks ago, and so many people came out. This guy is beloved. He has so many different groups of folks that came to love on him, and his brother came. Really, really smart guy. And so I know that he prides himself on intellect and intelligence and doing things correctly and being right. So that's the stuff we're going to have to have conversations about going forward.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're seeing the process here, right? With somebody that you're letting them go at the speed they need to go and take their time and asking a lot of questions and being sensitive and paying attention to the cues that they're giving you and all of these things that are just coming together. And it'll be fun to see what God might do, you know, with him and with you in the future as he keeps thinking about these things and you guys keep talking and stuff. So let me leave with this, just of everything you've said, everything you've observed through this relationship and what God's done. If you were to pick just one thing for people to take away from this interaction or series of interactions, what would you want people leaving this podcast with? Going, okay, that's the thought that I'm going to try to remember from this podcast.
You know, when we talk about the first step, valuing the one, I think it is important to have a couple of guys or ladies in a season that you really are moving towards, and intentionality means spending time, sacrificing some time. It can mean money, or just things. It can be and even effort. And I think in all of that, if I'm going to be happy about something, proud of something, it's that there has been days where I saw his name pop up on the group chat saying he's working out today, and I don't want that to be part of my day anymore.
Yeah.
And yet it is. And I think so. Just like, what's it look like to have a few people? We say one that you're really moving towards in a season, and to do that. Yeah.
No, I think it's fantastic. Can't ever overemphasize stuff like that. So thank you very much, Nate. This is really, really great. Thanks for being on the podcast. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening to the Reach Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. That'd be a good idea. Share it with a friend and leave us a review to help others find the podcast. Now, for more resources, please visit reachothers.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'd love to hear from you.